And let's face it, would Natalie be ready for this level, 10 years ago? No. Honestly, it is like when things are starting to fall apart, it is to understand that life is expanding you to another level. But there are things that can't follow you to that next level.
The right conversation can change everything. This is Mirror Talk, Soulful Conversations.
Today on Mirror Talk, Soulful Conversations, we welcome a TEDx speaker, former world-class competitive athlete, and the founder of Harmonise With Life. She's also a podcaster herself and has a podcast which talks about returning to center, which I'm really looking forward to talking about in this conversation. She helps high-achieving women return to their center, reclaim their inner authority, and stop making themselves wrong. Natalia, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me here. I'm looking forward to this.
I'm looking forward to, learning so much from you, especially, like I said, returning back to the center. I know you specialize with working with women, but everything that I'm sure you're going to talk about, there are going to be things that everyone could use, regardless of gender or age or status.
Yeah, I do speak but I do work with a lot of men one-on-one. It's a different, yeah. So it's a different, because men don't like groups. They prefer the one-on-one. So normally I promote women because they more like are drawn to groups more than men are. That's for sure. And I can only work with so many one-on-one.
Oh yeah. I mean, we are a handful. I know. I understand that totally.
No, not at all. No, actually, it's simpler, and we'll explain that. It's actually simpler for men. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. It isn't as no. That's why when we do one-on-one, it's like a few months and they're good. Yeah, for sure.
Not so much layers for us to peel off, basically, to get to the center.
Yeah, and I'll explain why, like the differences, because it's not a gender difference. It's more our nervous systems. If you think about historically, like how many women were allowed to stand in their authority, stand in their center, stand in and decide for themselves. They were taught to adapt, become. Be like your environment. And so a lot of women don't know how to lead their lives. They know how to adapt and become exactly what the environment wants them to become. And yes, there are a lot of men too that feel like, hey, you know what? Actually, I don't think my authority is receded. Like, I don't think my authority is online because I seem to be adapting and I'm managing my life. I'm not leading my life,
Yeah. We'll dive deeper into that. But I want us to play a game of wild cards quickly so that
let's do
and
it.
the listeners could get to know you from 3 random questions. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's warm it up.
So this is level 1, icebreakers.
Ooh, it's a light icebreaker.
Yeah. And the question is, I think it's 3-1. What would you honestly rate yourself as a person from 1 to 10? And why?
I would rate myself as an 11 if I could rate myself
I love
above
that.
And it's not coming from a place of ego. It's coming from a place of I'm a human being that is very open to being extremely transparent and to seeing herself. And you talk about your podcast being a mirror.
Yes,
I am
that's true.
very open to seeing a mirror. I'm actually so grateful for my mirror because how else do we know what to see if we can't accept the mirror, right?
That's
And
true.
so for that reason, because I see that is a real hard thing for most humans on this planet to see themselves because they see themselves and what do? They fight their reflection.
That's true.
And so I feel like, I wasn't always, I fought my reflection for many years. I would have been a 2 for most of my life. But I have gotten to this point where I would say totally a 10 and 11 because that is what I value. That's what I teach. And that is what I've embodied fully. And I really appreciate that about me.
Oh, I love that so much.
Yeah.
And I'm even looking forward to learning how you went from a 2 to 11. Like, I would like to know, like, did it take you a long time to move from maybe rating yourself a 2 and now embodying yourself as who you are and loving yourself for who you are?
You know why it took so long? Is
Why?
because for 10 years, I've spent $700,000. I've worked with the best minds around the world, been in Bob Proctor's inner circle. I have studied I have 12 healing designations. So we can go into all the details. There's a lot. And the reason why it took so long is because I was borrowing orientation. And we're taught this, aren't we? Like, if you're going to teach other people, you should learn from the system and then teach them the regurgitated version of it. And now we have a spiritual and mindset industry that's very regurgitated. And I basically lived there for a very long time and called that growth. And it wasn't growth. It was me forcing growth. There's a difference. Life in itself is always pulling us towards expansion. Most of us humans are doing what? Life expands us, and it's a bump in your life, basically. Yeah. And we can't stay with the bump. We're just like, I'm going to go meditate. I'm going to go pray to God. Well, God is in the bump. It's not in the meditation or the prayer. God is speaking to you through your children, is speaking through you through your husband or your spouse, through your job, through the money, all of these issues that you're resisting. And you're resisting expansion, by the way. You're resisting returning to center. And we don't realize that. And so what I did was look at all these bumps. That means I don't know enough. So let's go get another credential. So that's why I'm saying it took me a lot longer than it should because, and it's not that like, and I'm not here to say spirituality is wrong. That is not it at all. But somewhere along the way, we have forgotten what the true foundation of spirituality really is. And we've added all of these other things that just basically are egos looking to get, thinking that if they get there, they'll be happy once they get there. And now they're going to manifest it and they're going to force it. And here's the thing, you cannot create a new life. If you guys can get away, if you guys can like even write this down, you cannot create a new life while resisting the life that you're in. Because the life you are in is your path. You have never been off path a day of your life, but you are resisting it. And so in life, if it could talk to you, God, universe, whatever, everybody's different, right? If it could talk to you, it would say, participate with me, please. Stop avoiding me. Stop getting these spiritual buffers and separating yourself with me. Stay connected with me. I know your evolution. I know your path. Stay with me. And honestly, if, that's one thing, when you connect the dots looking backwards, and I'm like, that's why I became a top athlete, because I was in that zone. And then it crashed after that. And that's why I built a $1.3 million home as a single mom, right, on the water. I'd manifested that, Range Rover, all the things, and then gone. And I'm like, what the frig? What is going on? And then I was like manifesting the most incredible things. But guess why I was manifesting these things? I was manifesting it away from the life and reality that was going on. Yeah, you all can become really great manifestors. There's no doubt about that. But here's the thing. Life is like, I know your path. I know your truth. I know why you're here. And if it's not true, when reality comes in, it will test the bridge. And if the bridge falls, reality's showing you it's not true to you. See what I mean? So all these things would happen, but they would fall apart. And it's because of reality. It's like, you can keep going, Natalie. You can keep forcing. You could keep pushing. You could be that high achiever, but we'll keep testing it and we'll show you it's not really true to you. And it's because I was always doing that. I couldn't hold reality. I always tried to escape it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think a lot of us try to escape reality. And I'm learning from you right now that sometimes it's just good to stay in that bump, stay in that storm and listen. What's God trying to tell you in that moment? What is life trying to teach you in that very moment?
It's reorganizing you.
Yes.
But we can't hold it.
Reorganizing you, teaching you. Yeah, yes.
But we can't hold it, right? Most of us are like, we drop it, we avoid it, we make it wrong, we blame the husband, we blame the job, we blame the boss. We can't hold it without a story, without making it mean something about them or us. And it's because our nervous system's in survival, so it has a hard time holding it. And that's what happened to me. I couldn't hold it. Well, I had a lot of intelligence. I mean, intellect, I should call it, not intelligence. To me, intelligence is moving with life force. Life, that is intelligence, right? A human being that knows how to move with a force greater than itself. I would say that is intelligence. Intellect is borrowed information.
Yeah.
And they're not the same.
Basically, you went to school, you picked up some books, you read them up, listened to some podcasts, and you got some knowledge. And okay, fine.
And then you repeat it, and everybody's like, "I already heard this 100 times."
Yeah,
right. And then you're like, "Why isn't anybody why aren't anybody following me or listening to me or whatever?" And it's like, well, is it true to you? Because I'll tell you, when people listen to you, like I was in an airplane the other day, and I was sitting beside a CEO of a big multi-billion-dollar eye company, and we started talking. And then he's asking me questions like for 4 hours. And he's like, "Oh my God." He's like, "I'm so sorry, but like, you have so much wisdom. And he kept going. And I'm like, hey, can you see how much I love this? He's like, yes, I can see how much you love it because it's true to my heart. I'm like excited. I found it was so much fun. And then he became a client. The idea is there's no shrine, there's no promoting, there's no nothing. It's like truly you feel the embodiment. And I was using my experiences, my life experience and sharing that. And human beings can feel that if you think about it. Like it's really, if you let life help you evolve and you really follow that evolution and then share that evolution, oh my God, we know that that is a huge impact in the world. We know it. The woman that became a widower and moved through it and is on the other side and starts expressing from that energy, we're like moved by it. The person that got into a lot of financial problems and bankruptcy and everything else and moved on the other side and starts speaking from that energy, and we're like, right? It's like a lot of power. But that means we have to be able to hold reality long enough for it to, like you said, reorganize us. Yeah. Most of us, we don't realize it. You are interfering with your evolution, and then you go learn another methodology and say, I am growing because I know a lot. No. If life could speak to you and say, no, you're interfering because what's truly true to you would not be found in a book. And it's not to say that I'm not anti-collaborators. Like I collaborate with geniuses all over the world, and they have crafts and they have gifts that I don't have, and I have gifts that they don't have. And that's collaboration. But most people, that's not what they're doing. We're trying to borrow orientation and authority from other people. Tell me where I should go. Tell me, doctor, why I have these health issues. And if life could talk to you, say, hey, you're the one connected to your body, not the doctor. What's going on here? That doesn't make sense. We are very disconnected from ourselves in this society. And I had to wake up and see how I was very disconnected from myself, that I had a hard time holding reality. And boy, it just got so bad that I literally, like, picture a single mom, health scare at the same time, a 6-year relationship gone. So now I'm like, okay, now I'm completely alone. Had to sell my home, get rid of all the things. Huge scam in my business, multi 6 figures scam. I didn't even have access to credit. And I remember sitting in the dark and being like, I don't even know how to explain to my daughters that I don't even know where we're going to live next. Now I'm going to tell you, like, that you want to, and I don't have parents to back me up. I don't have any of that. Oh, wow. And so, but this is and I'm not saying all of you need to do this in order to return to center. Natalie is just that stubborn. Life was like, you're going to hold reality now because you'll have no choice because there's nothing else to hold right now. And so that's what ended up happening, is that I started moving into myself. And because I'm a cohesion architect, and I can literally tell you, like, I built an entire system around this to help people return to center, by the way. But from my own experience of how I reconnected to myself deeply, and then my authority receded. And then it was like, what is this? I was freaked out. I couldn't even walk for a week practically, because the nervous system that held my body, if you can picture, is survival. I've always lived in survival. I was always a woman. I'll figure it out. I will make it happen. And then I just didn't have anything left. And it's because my body was moving out of survival because my authority was taking charge. So yeah. Anyways, I just got off a call talking about authority, and they're like, oh my God, what is this? You know what I mean? So I don't want to talk too fast here because you might have other questions too.
I picked up, I put the next card already, but I'm going to drop it because I want to dive deep into this already. I'm looking so much forward. I'm very intrigued and want to learn from it. Like from you started talking about your life story already, and I find that very motivating, especially for listeners out there who are going through hardship at the moment and who are trying to escape the current life challenges that they are going through. What should they do at this moment? I've learned personally from you that just stay in it, listen, and learn from what is happening. What would you say to someone, a man out there, to a woman out there who's facing it at the moment, who's going through that divorce, losing his or her business at the moment? What should he or she do right now?
Yeah. And it's like, no, there is no doing. But I'm not saying to just be passive either, right? So I just want to be very careful about that. There is a dance between the two. But that's a form of avoidance. So you're still blocking yourself from reality by avoiding it. That's not what I'm talking about. And a lot of people are like, I'm just going to surrender. And no, you're avoiding, and you're calling it surrender, like fancy spiritual term. Honestly, it is like when things are starting to fall apart, it is to understand that life is expanding you to another level. But there are things that can't follow you to that next level. So I kept trying to hold, it's been 3 years that I kept holding on to these things that finally fell apart because on the 3rd year. And life whispered to me, this relationship, stop saying it's your twin flame. You know, there's something off here. Stop this alignment, this business. You're regurgitating other people's stuff. It's not true to you. And it was a lot of these and I would hire marketing people to take over my stuff. And that's what happened. They took over my stuff. Boy, did they ever take over my stuff in a way that really took over. But I was abandoning myself in that, right? And so, mirror, life is going to show you where you're abandoning yourself with controlling and narcissistic people, just so everybody's like, oh my God, he's narcissistic. No, you're abandoning yourself, and they're showing you where you're abandoning yourself. So it is a gift in some way, but it's a painful gift. There's no doubt about it. But when we can recognize that life is always evolving us, expanding us, and the things that can't come with us that were probably never yours, by the way, like my children are mine, like they're true to me, our relationship got stronger. So that shows the truth. So when things fall apart, it actually makes room for the things that are actually true to you, by the way. My business got stronger. Look at the things that got on a TED stage, started speaking about all kinds of this new concept that belonged to me. Do you know what I mean? So my calling, my mission, my work got stronger. So the truth of it and the parts of it that wasn't true, fell apart. Of course, to make room for what? For this part of me. It needs capacity. I can't be spending my capacity on the things that I was trying to manage before. They had to fall. So life's like, let me help you. Because I sent you some signals, but you're not listening. So we're going to really, really destruct this. But if you all can know, if you can feel me on this, now that I'm on the other side of it, is that I'm telling you, the things that are falling apart, if they were really true to you, if they are true to you, they're going to get stronger. And if they're not true to you, it's going to make room for what is. So you're winning no matter what. But we got to, as human beings, detach from the fact that the money means something about us, that relationship means something about us, that we're good or not good. You know what I mean? That all these things mean something about us, and drop the stories. And can we just stay in that void, that in between of okay, this is falling apart or is, and can I embrace that there's something new emerging here? Because if you can do that, you're going to stop interfering with what is. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because we do as humans. If I right away panic, and I've worked with thousands of entrepreneurs, I have seen many of them, it got too late. They were panicked. They were deep in the stories, the economy, it's a recession. It's because of my partner. They were so deep in the story, the business was falling apart. But it's not because it's because of the stories and the meaning they were making around the business that it fell apart. If they would have sat with it and say, no, there's certain things about the business is falling apart right now because it was never meant to work, but there's something new emerging. And if they could have allowed space for that, do you realize what would have happened? This is what Steve Jobs and all of them have done. The greats of the greats know how, and I say this all the time in all my podcasts, think about a genius. Look at scientists, the stuff they come out with, wow, it's whoa, where did you come out with that? Do you know how they do this? They get a signal and they're like, I'm going to experiment with this thing. How are they experimenting it? They're experimenting it with reality. Crazy thing, right? And reality gives what? A feedback. Yes. Now, when reality gives a feedback, the scientist doesn't go, my God, I need to heal. Something's wrong with me. And this means something about me. No, the scientist stays neutral about it, receives the feedback, sits with the feedback. You hear a lot of the greats and geniuses have meditated with it or stay with it, but they're holding it. They're not meditating to avoid. They're meditating to stay with it. And then allows the intelligence to move through them. When the intelligence moves through them, it's then they know the next step. And then they know the next step and the next step. And then next thing you know, the iPhone or whatever is created from this. But they know how to participate with reality. Most of us humans are just like me, learning a lot of, I wanted to, that's the thing. All of you that are learning so much spirituality and so much growth, kudos to you because you guys are leaders. You guys want to lead. There's a desire in my heart. I wanted to lead, but I didn't know, but not this way, Natalie. And so when I started becoming connected to reality, then everything started to open up. And I'm like, oh my God, the things that I'm teaching now are so genius that the old me that had a hard time speaking up in boardrooms, basically, Like I would have to prepare and over prepare to do a presentation. You know what I mean? Whereas now I can walk into any boardrooms, feel, and just receive fully. And sometimes I'm in the beginner and I'm like, explain more. I need to receive more from you, right? And I just receive and I keep, and then all of a sudden intelligence starts to move through me, starts to move through them. Next thing you know, moved right out. But a lot of us, we have to have this ability to stay with what is. And most of us are like, no, I can't stay with what is, because what if what is ends up being worse? No, it can't be worse. You know what's worse? You interfering with what. That is what's going to make it worse. Or you're going to create something that's not yours.
That'll be bad. That was horrible. Yeah. Thank you so much for the explanation. I mean, because a lot of us, we think, okay, Natalie said, I have to stay in it. They stop doing anything about, their situation, stop, allowing intelligence flow through them, or just abandoning it. And you said that correctly, wonderfully well. We are basically avoiding the situation, by avoiding the reality, being disconnected from reality. We are avoiding our growth. And something I said to me something I said right now that I'm taking on with me from this conversation is basically everything that happens to us in life, is for our transformation. It's where I'm interpreting it. And when it's time for us to be transformed, life is going to bring these lessons, these experiences that we will go through. And if we are carrying excess baggages, or if we're carrying baggages that are not meant to follow us to the next level of our lives, we would have to let go of them at that moment. And that could be very difficult. I can imagine, letting go of things that you've held dearly to yourself. And all of a sudden, life is telling you, Tobi, this bag that you're carrying does not belong to you anymore.
Well, life is never telling you that the surface things are not yours. It's not about the surface things. It's about what the surface things were built on. So letting go when life bumps into you, it's not letting go of the surface thing. You don't life bumps into your relationship, let go of the relationship. Whoa, no. This is what we do as humans. We're constantly trying to change the physical world, not looking at what created the physical, which is the energy behind it, right? Yeah. And so life is asking you to let go of a perspective, a belief, an idea, a way of being, a habit, those sort of things life is asking you. And you don't go in your head trying to figure out what to let go, all of you. If you observe, so let's say let's use relationship because everybody can use this example. And let's say the husband said something and I'm triggered by it. Well, the idea is to stay with that trigger, with that thing that was going on in that moment. As I stay with it, I can now, I don't make it about him and I don't make it about me.
There's sometimes that we have to let go of some baggages or some bags that we're carrying. And, they could be very dear to us. I'm like, okay, why should I let go of this? But life is telling you to let go of it, to move to the next level. And then, sometimes we could take it very literal or physical and let go of that relationship because of the storm in the relationship.
But that's what we do, right? We let go of the physical instead of what's underneath. So what I mean by that is if let's say there's a relationship issue, I would hold the relationship, I would stay with the issue, but create space for myself without making a decision about the relationship, without the story about the relationship, without making it mean he's bad, I'm bad, whatever, those we let go. A lot of us don't know how to just hold it without making it mean anything about us. And that is really the skill, all of you, because your mind wants to come in and protect you, and it protects you by bringing in meaning or a reason why it's happening. But the minute you entertain that, you're blocking yourself from the intelligence, from reality that's trying to move through you. And here's the cool thing about that. It reorganizes you, which means that if I keep observing myself in a certain way with my husband, and I create some space, and then I come back and I notice, my tone is a little mean, actually. And I don't judge myself or anything. Remember, I stay neutral, but I'm observing myself while I'm in the conversation. As I'm observing in a neutral place, that pattern is already dying. I don't have to try to heal it. I don't have to try to let go. I don't have to try anything. But can I hold it? And can I see myself as a mirror? Can I see the mirror clearly and see myself and can I hold that? Because that in itself is already reorganizing you naturally. So when that happens, then the outer starts to become a match of the inner. So the things outside of you start to shift. So my clients will be like, holy crap. Same relationship, same world, but everybody treats me so differently. And I'm like, because they're now participating differently with reality, right? They're participating differently with their husband. So of course the husband's like, so they're going to get a different reaction from the husband, aren't they? They're going to have
Of
a different
course.
reaction from bosses and everything else. So everybody's doing the law of attraction, trying to figure out how to attract these better relationships. And I'm like, how about you work on you and why you attract what you attract? Like, and also work on you based on like why you open yourself to attracting the things that you do attract. Instead of looking for something outside of you to come into your world magically. Did you ever think like if you shift this inside of you, everything shifts outside of you like that? But can you hold that mirror? And that's why I love you. That's why I loved your podcast, by the way. And I applied to like be on his podcast because the mirror effect, I'm like, oh my God, this is the biggest thing because reality life is your mirror. Like your children are the mirror. The thing you're triggered, it's like if you can just picture like everything that you're triggered or you're resisting in life right now, life is showing you something and you're resisting that reflection. But you're also resisting center and you're resisting your evolution. You're resisting your genius. You're resisting the next level of your work. You're resisting the next level of your love life. All the things that you work so hard to have right now. You don't realize it, but you are resisting it. In reality, if it could talk to you, it would say, sir, all I want to do is show you something about yourself, but can you look at and observe yourself long enough to notice it? And in observing it with grace, the word grace, if you can observe yourself with grace, it is already falling apart. There's no healing needed. There's no other things, but can you hold reality? And that's all I teach is like basically teach them how to build containment so that they can hold reality. And it's a big deal. It changes everything. It's a simple thing, but it changes everything.
Wow, this is very, eye-opening to me. Like observing the way I behave or the way I interact with other people outside, in a relationship, at work, anywhere I find myself, would help me to actually heal, help me to know, how to show up in a better way, basically. Yeah. You said something that I find very relatable. You're talking about this evolution that's supposed to come our way, transformation. We're resisting it. And I'm asking myself, why? Why do we do that? Is it because we are too comfortable where we are? We're scared of something. Why? Why do we do that?
I love your questions, by the way. At the very, very core root, humanity and what we inherited from our ancestors is that life is not to be trusted. Yeah. So we have a society, if you look at our society, we have a society that either dominates life because it doesn't trust it, or it submits and becomes passive to life and therefore is attracted to dominant people because then they feel they'll be safer with them. All right? That is our world. How many people are looking for employers because then they'll feel safe because then they're getting paid by someone, right? Someone else at a higher level. It's all hierarchical. True. And so at a very deep, deep level, we have been taught by our ancestors to not trust life, not trust our evolution. Don't trust your path. And so that's the part that I help shift, that it was hard for me to shift because I had to do the long way, but that's why that was my path. My clients, that's not their path. They get to do in months what took me I'm almost 50 now. So it must taken me 50 years. But it's because the moment that you shift that and think about it, everything is built on top of that. The way you look at money, the way relationships, like how many women, like if you were to be really honest, you're looking for men for what reason? Because you need something from them. You know what I mean? So that is not cohesion. That is survival. There's so much, and even men, right? Like it's men and women. We are choosing based on a nervous system that is in survival. Why is the nervous system in survival? Because we inherited from our ancestors a nervous system that is like, you need to survive life because we don't trust it. And that's the deepest that you can actually go. I'm going to tell you that, or probably, maybe in 10 years, I'll probably have something else that's even deeper. But right now, just unlocking that part in a lot of my clients opens up a lot of things and moves them out of survival and back to center. But we are living in a different era. There's a huge evolution happening right now. There's a reason why life is like, okay, everyone, it's time. It's time that we let go and fight ourselves. And because that's what we're doing. We're fighting each other, but it's only because we're fighting ourselves, right? The mirror that's the clear mirror of the world. And there's a huge evolution going on right now that's like, okay, it's time to stop fighting each other, fighting ourselves first. And once you can realize that it's because you don't trust me, and then really learn to trust me, because we have a lot of people that have built stories around God, life, and it's in a way that, again, we don't trust. that we'll get hurt or that we're going to be judged or condemned or go to hell or, there's all kinds of stuff there. And it's all coming from what? Life is not to be trusted. You better do exactly what they say or you're going to get hurt. So abandon yourself deeper. But we know this from ancient wisdom. If we look at like if you go back to the I Ching and the Kabbalah and go back to the roots of this intelligence, it's to stop abandoning ourselves. And we're still doing it on some level. And I was doing it on some level because I wanted to be safe. I wanted to be on good terms with God. So now I'm trying to manifest how? By abandoning myself, by being what I perceive God wants me to be. But then my system is speaking to me, my own intuition is speaking to me, and I'm ignoring that. And we are doing that as human beings. And then life is speaking to us, and we're ignoring that as well. We're fighting that. And then we wonder why we don't have orientation or authority. You don't have orientation because you have to stay connected to reality long enough to know the next step and the next step and the next step. If you disconnect from it, you won't have orientation, but your nervous system will be in survival. So it's going to seek orientation outside of yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's very enlightening. Like a lot of us, we depend on the framework, on the system that's been built up for us, or that we grew up with, basically, and we don't really trust life itself, like you said. And that's why whenever situations come our way, we don't trust it. We try to resist it, basically, because we don't know what that is.
And that's deep inside of our system. Notice it's very ancient. Yeah. It's like right away we fight the thing. And so that's why even on a mental level, I can tell you, like, that's why a lot of people are like, I know, trust life. Life is for me. I'm like, you don't know. You don't know. There isn't a human being on the planet that really does know this. And I'm still integrating it deeper and deeper and deeper because it is like, think about it. For thousands of years, we operated a certain way as human beings. Anybody that thinks that they can just trust life and life is fine they're not being honest with themselves. And that dishonesty is going to cost them. You know what I mean? But when we can really accept and say, yeah, of course. And it's not to get angry or to heal our ancestral wounds. It's nothing like that. Our ancestors did the best they could with what they knew. And I promise you, if our ancestors were living in this era, they'd be shifting out of that shit. So do your ancestors proud, man. They'd be like, I would have done everything to be able to live in the era that you guys are living in. Let go of what we taught you. That's what your ancestors would say to you. Let go of what we taught you.
Yeah.
Let go, because it's blocking you from living the life that you really want, your path. And there's nothing more exciting than to be on your path. I'm going to tell you that right now. There isn't. Yeah.
A lot of people have this mindset that, they get to determine what happens to them in life. And, that could cause a lot of friction, I believe, in life, when they say, okay, I don't care what life brings my way. I determine what happens to me in this life. I guess that could cause like a lot of pushing back what is meant to happen to them. I'm not happen to them, but what is meant to transform their lives, pushing back what God has in plans for them also, I guess.
Yeah, I just want to be clear of your question. So like the people that are pushing back, that would push back on this because they're like, it feels like they're waiting or?
Well, I'm talking about, a lot of people that believe that they themselves are capable of determining what happens to them in life. They are 100% in control of, paving or creating the paths that they have to go in life. I'm trying to get like a bit of clarity on this because I'm trying to say that basically that this could cause a lot of friction and a lot of fight against reality itself. What will happen to them will surely happen to them. What life has in stock for them will surely happen, but it could be pushed back, is my understanding. Like they'll just keep on delaying the transformation, the growth that they are supposed to experience in life. Sometimes it might even be.
Like you mean like the people that are very controlling, that are trying to control their path, like how much they're interfering with it?
Exactly.
Is that what you mean? Yeah. Like that was me, I'm going, because really, if you look at a lot of the manifestation techniques out there and stuff, it's almost like you're in charge. And it's not that we're not in charge. Here's the thing. It's not that we're not in charge. Like a scientist that has a signal and decides to experiment with reality, but it's doing it like a child would. Gets a signal, starts to create something. I don't know why. I just need to see. And then reality gives feedback. And then it's this beautiful partnership, and it keeps escalating from there. But for me, most of my life, I feared. There's a deep fear within me that, and I didn't know, most humans don't know, but there's a fear in me that if I don't take care of myself, I'm not taken care of. And I'm also not saying that, oh, just go meditate and life will take care of you. That's not it at all. When you return to center and your authority returns and you're participating with reality, that means reality sends you signals and you receive them. And then it tells you the next step, and then the next step, and the next step. So you are fully engaged. You are activating, like you are fully participating in action. You could feel the fear of like, oh, okay, I'm going to sit with this. And I tell myself, like, I'll feel the fear. And I'm like, it means I just need to sit with it a little longer. I'm not going to do it. I always say to myself, I'm going to sit with it for 24 hours. I will do something tomorrow. But I knew right there I knew something was still reorganizing. Something wasn't full. So that's me not controlling anymore. I used to like, no, I got to do something. I got to push something. I got to force something. Yeah. And it's like, now I don't interfere with it. And now my quote I always use in my mind is like, you will know what you need to know when the time comes. You need to know it. Trust. But stay engaged, stay connected, stay present. Ancient wisdom. Presence, stay connected. What do you think presence is? Stay connected with reality, stay connected with the moment, stay connected with what is, participate fully with it. But now I see it very differently than what the sages were teaching. Now I'm like, no, this is about, because I still love success. I still love creating. I still love, those sort of things. So people that are like me, more high achievers, I'm like, but now I'm using playing with reality like a scientist, and allowing that to tell me the next move and the next move and the next move. So that way it really feels good to me, because I'm fully connected to presence and reality, but at the same time, fully participating with it and creating and leading. Because a lot of us are born to be leaders, but some of us are not born just to be sages and just to share wisdom. Some of us are like, no, let me show you, like, let me not show you the way, because I want you to respect your path, but watch me as I'm respecting my path, how you will respect your own. Yeah.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of people out there that are telling you, follow my path. And, even when I became a top athlete, how many people are following other diet plans? Well, it worked for them because it's completely their path. Like I ate in a way, I became a top athlete, and I ate in a way that nobody else was eating, because it was true to me. And I remember I felt bad about this because people wanted to know my plan and stuff. And I'm like, let me teach you how, like, the energy behind it of why I became a top athlete. But it's not the diet plan, because that changed every 2-3 weeks. Like, I don't know what to share with you that is misleading you, which is what the billion-dollar industry is. It's constantly saying, follow this path, you'll get this. Follow this path, you'll get this. And I'm here for the people that are here to lead. And they're like, no, I want my own path. I want to eat the way my body is built to eat. I want relationships the way I'm built to have relationships. And in order for that to happen is not to focus on the body and the relationships and the work and the money. It is to focus on your participation with reality, because that changes everything naturally.
Yes.
You see what I mean?
Yes. How is your participation with reality? Are you connected with the moment right now? Are you fully in touch with reality, with life itself?
Yeah.
Are you getting those signals? Are you receiving signals from life? And are you proactive with what you're receiving also? Are you working on them?
And it's okay that it's not perfect. Like, look I lost my train of thought. Do you know what I mean? Like, can we be human and be okay and laugh? And because that is staying in the moment. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't plan for this, and you're asking me different questions, and we're having a conversation, right? But I lost my train of thought. Nothing was perfect about this. But do you know what the perfection is? Is that we're completely in this moment together, having a conversation and connected, and allowing the human us also be part of it, and without making it wrong or judge it or any of that. And if we can start recognizing and allowing that there's no higher self and lower self, stop doing that to yourself. That is fragmentation. There's Natalie, there's me, and I have there's no separation in me. This is me. You know what I mean? But I feel like the moment I say, oh, this is my higher self and this is my lower self, do you know what? I'm going to tell you right now, the things that I thought were lower self are actually my geniuses. Isn't that crazy? So a lot of what you think is lower self is actually not lower self. So who decided what is lower and what's higher? Show up as yourself, Connect with reality. Be in participation with reality. There's nothing more powerful than you can do as a leader on this planet. And I'll tell you that right now. And then teach other people how it's okay. It's okay. Stay with it. You're good. No, you're not failing. You're evolving. You're expanding. Next level's coming. You know, like we need more of those leaders. Not learn how to fail. I saw that the other day. I'm like, what? No, learn how to expand, not learn how to fail.
Yeah, exactly. And the expansion we bring its lesson, maybe help you to understand the energy behind things better, helps you to change your mindset, everything that you need to do to expand is going to come with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And here's the thing, like now, like mindset tools, now I can use them and there's a place to land. Whereas when I wasn't centered, where's it going? Like manifestation, because there's a lot of like, I don't want to put down like any of the tools that are out there. There's a lot of powerful tools, but if we're not centered and we're not participating with reality, then where are you going? Oh, well, look at everything I have. Stop. Just stop for a second long enough, because the reason why you're not stopping long enough is because if you were to stop long enough, you would have contact with reality, and reality would say, stop. You don't want this. You're in fear that if you don't have this, what would this mean about you? And if you stay and stop long enough, but most people don't want to stop long enough for reality to expose that. So they keep going. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I'm telling you, things don't have to fall apart on the outside. Like my clients' things don't fall apart. It had to with me. Unfortunately, that's the only way I was going to learn. I learned how to participate with reality, but that is not necessary. If we fully participate with reality, the things can shift. The business can shift form and not have to fall apart because you're moving with the shift. The relationships could shift form and they wouldn't fall apart. Like things don't have to fall apart. So that's really important, because some people listen to my story and they're like, does that mean I have to like everything has to fall apart for me to return center? I'm like, no, gosh, no. Now it will if you keep doing like me and ignore it. Life whispers at first, and then it gets louder and louder and louder.
I think some of us just keep try to avoid the voices that life uses to speak to us, or quite just run away from life itself, and we don't do anything. I mean, we just avoid everything until everything fall apart, and we're like, oh my god, what has happened to me? Basically, I know that life has given you signs, has been speaking to you, has been giving you signals, but we are just pushing it back, suppressing it, and letting go, and not listening.
We're like children with life. We have to admit, like I was a child before. Like I've only become an adult just recently. No, honestly. I'm almost 50 and I only became an adult recently, because we are like the children, like, oh, I don't want that. This sucks. What are you saying about me? You saying mean things about me? You know what I mean? And we make up these stories. We're children when it comes to reality, to life, until we start participating with it. And we're like, oops, sorry. I didn't realize how much of a child I was. Raising children as a child. And I think that's most of society. I think there was one spiritual teacher, I forget her name, but she's like, yep, look around. There's a lot of children raising children on this planet, and that's what she meant, is that we are not fully participating with reality. We're fighting reality. We're fighting each other, or we're pulling back. You know what I mean? We're like, I don't know how many women right now are pulling back in corporate, working less hours or doing less responsibility. And it's their expansion that's coming in, but they don't realize that their nervous system is not able to hold reality for it to reorganize and build their expansion, or their capacity to hold the next level. So they're making choices to move back. And I see men doing too. Oh, I just want a simpler life. And I'm like, watch what happens to your body now. Watch what happens to your relationships now. Watch, because you've made a decision to pull back, and reality, life is trying to expand you. And we don't realize that and those are the types of people that are now fighting life. They're pulling back and they're becoming passive, and they're like, oh, well, this is my path. This is good enough. And it's like, oof, that's also, not accepting reality, not able to participate fully with life. And so when I see these things, and I see it everywhere, and I'm like, I can't interfere, right? Because they haven't asked me a question. So I know now not to interfere. If they ask me, I will share. If they don't ask me, I do not interfere anymore. I used to. That would never go well. That does not go well. Life's like, stop. If they're ready, they'll ask. You know what I mean? If they're not ready, they're not asking. Don't interfere.
Observe them.
Yeah, just observe. Just be. And respect everybody's journey.
Yeah. Oh, that's the word I was about to say. Like, we have to respect everyone's journey. Like, everyone is at a different level of understanding. Some of us are not yet adults yet. Some people are adults already, and so regardless of our age, some people are still growing up.
Yeah.
Some people have
And
grown.
I'm
We're all.
always growing and expand. Like, I mean, like, I'm no more healing. There's no more of that BS stuff happening or learning from other people. That's not happening in my life anymore. But
Mm,
evolving, well, yeah, life's always showing me new things to look at. Reality is always showing me new things to look at.
mm,
And I keep looking at my mirror and I keep looking at the things and
mm,
they release and let go. And I'm always evolving and expanding and evolving and expanding. That will never end. That part won't ever end. But I tell people there's natural growth and then there's forced growth. And natural growth is when you're participating with reality. That is true growth. That is participating with your full evolution. The other one, and let's face it, would Natalie be ready for this level, 10 years ago? No. So everything is perfect as it is. You see what I mean? For some people, they'll
yes.
need to go through all of these different stages and steps. And then there's some people, I do attract some people, and they're especially young people, and they're like, I know I already heard you. I'm not doing what all these people are doing. I already
Mm,
feel it. I just want to I want to be there now,
mm,
and what they mean internally, that place centered and being able to participate with reality. They're like, I want to be there now. And so those people, of course, but they resonate. They feel it inside of them. Their nervous system is ready for it. But many people will be like, I don't get what you're talking about. But then as long as you're still like growing and you're still
mm,
moving towards things, but if you can just take this message from today, if you think you're growing because you're learning methodologies, that's not growing. Growing is allowing life to happen
yeah.
and to be able to hold it and participate with it and allow it to transform you naturally. We all know like the breakup, we had no choice. And then we started transforming naturally. And who we are now, it's like, holy crap, I can't believe I would fall for that. I wouldn't fall for that anymore. Why?
Mm,
Because life
that's a
transformed
powerful.
you to another level.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So that is true growth. So if anybody
Mm,
could take that away, what true growth means and what I call it the force growth is,
mm,
and because that's important that you respect your evolution. That's
yeah.
that's really my biggest message for the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. When you were speaking about that, something that was coming up for me right now was some listeners that could be asking about, oh, Natalie is talking about this, about, connecting with life, with reality and growing from it, letting life teach you and evolve from it and transform from it. But what about my mentors and mentorship and people that I look up to that I'm trying to emulate in my life? What should I do about those, all
Yeah,
those
those mentors are
role
not going to like
models?
me right now. I'll tell you, like a lot of them have been. I'm going to tell you right now, a lot of mentors and coaches, because I have clients that said, Natalie's going to be the coach that ends all coaches. And I'm like, well, number one, I'm not a coach. I'm an architect. I teach people and I call myself a cohesion architect. I just bring people back to cohesion. And we return to cohesion when we allow life to show us the way back to cohesion, right? And, the thing I want to say about that is that I still collaborate with incredible minds, but I'm no longer positioned underneath them. I'm no longer, please tell me what to do next. I'm no longer now, because there's a lot of people that are geniuses, they have a genius in marketing and they have a genius in all these different areas of life, they all have their specific thing. But when you return to center, in your authority returns, you're no longer borrowing authority. You're not borrowing orientation from someone else. This is your path, your orientation, your authority. You're leading your life. So when I go to a doctor, but I'm leading my life, they'll smile because they're like, I wish all my patients were like this. Because it's like, right? Because
Yeah.
now we collaborate at a very high level versus if I
Yeah.
go to an expert and I'm like collapsing in front of them, save me. It's
Mhm.
really, really hard for them to be able to help you. But when you're centered, you have your orientation and you are very connected, and now you're collaborating with these individuals. These individuals actually prefer individuals that are seated and that know their orientation because they're able to collaborate with them at a very high level, which
Definitely.
every human being loves to be in their zone of genius, not saving people. There's something very heavy about that. But yes, there is a huge part of the industry that is still follow me, I'm the guru. I know your way. Those people, yes, they're definitely shutting the door on a lot of them sharing here for sure. But that is what I call hierarchy. And
Yeah.
I could talk about systems and hierarchy all day long. I don't think we want to open up that can of worms. But if you just know that, like, I appreciate, like, if anybody's listening on this, I appreciate all of the different gifts out there. But I'm so grateful now that I can collaborate with these beautiful gifts instead of collapsing and asking them, help me, which they can't, because I can only help me. Because
Yes.
reality is like, stop. And this is why I think in one of the Proverbs, I forget how it is, but don't worship another human being. And the point of that is that because life force is already guiding you, you should be following that direction, that orientation, that authority, and then collaborating with all these beautiful gifts on this planet. You see what I mean? And so that's a whole different way of looking at the industry, that's for sure. And some people like it, and some people are like shutting the door at it. And I mean, it depends. Again, they're resisting reality. Right?
I think for some people,
There's a mirror.
For some people, it's quite, they find it easier to just follow somebody without thinking for themselves, take the same steps as the other person. But
well, because people want the easy way out. They don't want, but we have to realize what abandonment really means. We know how to abandon ourselves as a society. And we want the easy way. And I'm like, you want the easy way? Participate with reality. Because I'm going to tell you right now, it's a hard friggin' life to work against reality. Like, I come from a very humble beginning, like 3rd-degree mother-father wounds, like a lot of these different things. I have a very experiential life, and it's because I never knew what centered meant. I was always following. And then I learned from my ancestors how to fight reality. My ancestors know how to fight reality. I'll tell you that right now. That's why they all have a hard life. They fight it like you wouldn't believe. And then that's what I inherited. And then I wear it as a badge of like a badge of honor that I was a survivor of all these things. It's like, oh my God, Natalie. Like, if life could talk to me and say, okay, yeah, I know you have a lot of experience fighting me, but are you done changing that? Right. And it took almost 50 years, I won't lie. But at least I finally broke that lineage. You see what I mean? And so a lot of people don't realize it, but not participating with life is hard. You want the simpler life, you want the easier life, fully participate with it, learn how to participate with it, and things come simpler. Now I'm like, oh my God, life is way simpler now. Whereas before, you know what's hard? Yeah. Like fighting it, not understanding what's going on, questioning yourself, questioning everybody, freaking out, not knowing where the next paycheck will come from, like living like that is a hard life. And God, universe, does not want anybody to live like that. We are always being guided, but we're resisting our guidance. Yeah. Yeah. And I was a pro at it. I was like a total pro at it. That's why I have a lot of wisdom to share with all of you.
And now I'm thinking about, women and men out there who like want to reach out to you and maybe speak with you. We're all on different stages of our journey in life. Once they come to you and they, start working with you, when will they start noticing that, yes, I've reached my center, I'm aligned, I'm in tune with life itself?
Like, how would they know if they're centered?
Yes.
Like when shit hits the fan and you're very solid and relaxed and you're the only person in the room that is still cohesive while everybody else is like lost their heads, you're centered. You know you're centered when things are not going your way and you're still solid in it. You're still holding reality. You're still in it. You're still standing in it, and you're still receiving it. And you're not panicking, you're not fearing, you're not freaking out. And that's just the nervous system that is built for survival, right? Because it believes that life, when things don't go your way, that means life is, it's about to like work against you. And so now they're like, I got to protect myself from life. And it's like, life's like, no, don't. And that's what I'm really here to help people change, is how to truly trust their path, trust life, trust themselves. What does that really mean? Because there's a lot of people throwing that around and they don't really know what that deeply means. And so if anybody wanted to be in contact, the first step, I always say, I have a free program called Bump It Like It's Hot. You like it? Bump it like
Yeah,
it's hot. So it starts with whatever the bump you have in your relationship, your love life, health, money, whatever it is. And it's and I have all these free courses, but it just shows you how to return to center. And then because I do have a whole logical concept. I'm an architect. And I know
yes.
how to architect things that people can't see. And I'm able to put them in words. I think you guys can notice that with me, with my conversation today. And so I put the whole system into words so that people can understand how, like logically, how does a person return to center and their authority receipts within them. And now they have orientation and they know how to do all of this. And so
Yeah.
if after watching that, you desire to get on a call or whatever, then my contact information will be there because some of you will be resonating with it and be like, oh yeah, like I'm so ready for this next level. And some of you will receive it and just say, this is really like, no matter what, it's going to have an impact. And you'll know. I say,
Yeah,
trust what's in you. Something in you is already telling you. So just trust it.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trust what is in you. I mean, it's time to put an end to blocking out life, or not to trusting life or not being aligned with what life has
Yeah,
in
and
store
letting
for us.
go of what we've been taught that life is. There's a lot of
Mm,
ancient stories, a lot. Like I had to let go of a lot of stories my ancestors made up about life, like a lot. And so it's a matter of like, once you shift that, of course it changes everything. Who
yeah.
you are in life starts to shift and change. And then you're going to move into different directions. Everybody's got a genius and gift. And mine is just like, I just want you to be able to hold reality. And then after
Mm,
that, wherever you go and whoever you attract, you're going to be collaborating with them now. Okay. You're not going to be following, you're going to be collaborating and
yeah.
adding to your journey. And that's all I want is to bring people to a point where they are respecting their journey. They are working completely with reality. And then you attract all these different gifts and different people in your lives that are going to help absolutely with your journey. But you will have discernment now because you'll be centered. Because a lot of people
Yeah.
don't have discernment. They have this savior complex or this desire to save others or to be saved. So we
Mm,
need to move out of that or else that interferes with your path. Yeah.
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 Wow, I've learned a lot from you, Natalie, from this conversation. I was just thinking about a listener out there right now who could be, you know, having a lot of emotional scatteredness, feeling emotionally scattered or reactive and disconnected from themselves. One thing that you said earlier at the beginning of this conversation, you could correct me if I'm wrong, was that it's better for us to observe ourselves, in those relationships, in those discussions. I believe a listener like that would, I would say, be able to get better with the way they show up by observing the way they, react to things or the way
Mhm.
they emotionally interact with people, right?
Yeah, it's being able to see yourself. Honestly,
Mm,
like it's the mirror part, first of all. The number one is
yeah.
at first, like I didn't have the ability to see myself inside of what I was doing. I didn't have that
Mm,
ability that built over time. But the first step was, can I feel the trigger and know that they didn't trigger me? I
mm.
triggered myself. They didn't go my body and start triggering my body. I triggered
Yeah.
myself. So what is inside of me triggering me that I need to
Mm,
look at something here? And so if people can start there, first of all, and then what ends up happening now, you become like now your observer, the soul you, the observer you, the part of you that can see beyond starts to become very much activated online. And now you're able, like I can have a conversation with my kids, but also see myself having a conversation with my kids. I see all parts of me, parts of them, and it's
yeah.
it's the coolest thing, but that's where I started. Was
Mm,
there, and then eventually I started, but just by observing yourselves. You don't realize it. Like I seeing myself how I was with my daughters and just seeing myself with my daughters without judgment, things I adopted from my parents, but I
mm,
could see myself in it and it just fell apart as I was seeing myself because on some level I'm like, that's not me. That's not me. That's my mom. That's my dad. That's something else, right? But that was not me. And just by
yeah.
observing that, it was already falling apart. And
Mm,
if we keep that is truly the ultimate way of want to call it healing is
mm,
healing. But life's already showing you what to heal. So stop
yeah.
following other people that tells you what to heal. No, life is already showing you what to heal. I'm here to show you how life is showing you what to heal and to keep participating with it. And when you do, you start moving all the stuff out of the way and then you don't have anything to heal anymore. Now you're the child again in life that is like, ooh, let's play with this. That didn't work. Oh, let's play with this. Oh, yes, reality saying this. And then we keep like participating that way. And then we live that way as children. And then we get to live that way again. And I love how Einstein's like, I wasn't a genius. I don't know. He didn't say I wasn't a genius. He's like, they call me a genius, but I'm just a very curious person. Right. And he did. He had that youthfulness of curiosity, of fully participating with reality and have like, okay, I wonder if I do this, what will come through on the other side. And then take that as feedback information and then keep going, keep going, keep going.
And that's how we evolve. Yeah. Taking feedback.
That's true evolution. Now we're out of the something's wrong with me. I got to heal. I got to work on myself. We move. Honestly, a lot of people, I'm just going to say, I'm going to trigger maybe people by saying this, but I did it. I stayed stuck in healing and mindset and learning all of the things. You know why? Because I was avoiding to stand in my own center and authority. Yeah. I was using that as a buffer in order to not stand in my authority, because now I'd have to be accountable for everything that I do put out into the world and then get back. And so I'd rather play I'm still growing. I'm still healing. And so if anything there triggered, just let it trigger you. It's already reorganizing. Something's starting to move inside of you. And watch how it starts to shift you. And some of you will be like, nope, this is my path. I'm healing. That's okay too.
Wow. I mean, I can go on and on with questions that are just coming up, but I'm really grateful for everything I've gotten to learn from you about, being aligned with life and allowing life to show you how to evolve, how to transform, and, returning to your center, your center. And that will help you in showing up in a better way in your relationship, at work, even being a leader. If you are made to be a leader, it helps you to show up as a great leader.
Oh yeah, like if you want to be a great leader, you must learn how to participate with reality. Because like think about it, you're getting signals from your employees, you're getting signals from everybody and everything around you, but you're ignoring them, or you don't know how to hold them. You don't know how to be with it. Like that, like I look at the statistics, what is it? 80% of entrepreneurs, because I've been a business coach for over 25 years. So I've had clients for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
And I did do a period where it was all insolvency and bankruptcy. I went 3 years where I only worked with insolvency and bankruptcy. And 80% do go into bankruptcy and stuff like that, but it's because they're not participating with life. If you listen to them, they're fighting life, right? I'm the victim of it. I'm the victim of economy. I'm the victim of something, right? Or they're praying for God to come and fix it. And I'm like, no, that won't work. This is going to fall very, very quickly. And so they don't know how to participate with reality. But entrepreneurs that know how to participate with reality, it's not to say like everything is perfect in a business. No, you're participating with reality. But the thing is, you never freak out because you're like, I'm connected to the power that's actually guiding me. So I'm good. I'm good. And that's a different, and think about it. When a leader is leading from that cohesiveness, that power, that strength, of course the people are like following that because they're like, this person's solid. Yeah.
Don't be panic in the office space, or people will not feel,
You're going to attract
destabilized.
more
basically.
talent. Yeah. You're going to definitely attract better talent.
One last question before I let you go. Or maybe two.
It's okay. I had like a call this morning too, and they're like, okay, I need more. Okay, I need more.
I actually
But
need a
this
lot
is really
more.
new what I'm sharing too. So I really appreciate you immersing yourself into this too. So I enjoy this. So
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing this.
yeah.
I think it's quite tied to the call you had earlier. In the call you had earlier, from what you said, you talked about authority, and I picked that up in this conversation too. You speak about natural authority and inner authority, something I'm picking up, and I've already learned also already that once I'm able to participate in life, I'll be able to have that inner authority, that natural authority, like, because I'll be able to be calm whenever things are not going my way. I'll be able to show up even though things are not going the way I want them to go. But I would just like you to shine more light on that a little bit for people out there who have been picking up authority from the conversation. How can someone begin to tell the difference between a decision that comes from fear or or performance or conditioning, or the one that comes from genuine inner authority?
One that comes from fear is that you will see right away that you're disconnecting from what's going on. So that's the first moment. Like if you judge it, freak out. Like you're human, first of all.
Yeah.
It's okay that you feel all the feels. Remember, this is not me saying don't be human. Don't feel anything. Don't feel fear. Don't feel. But it's to recognize that in that moment when a bump happens, it's just noticing, again, observing yourself. Am I staying with this? Or am I in a story right now? Because here's the thing, a true story is only shared when you connect the dots looking backward. So what story did you just make up? Because you're not even on the other side. So yeah, so are you in a story? Because trust me, stories are very creative. They're going to create it. So are we able, so the first step is, can I stay with this? And for some people, I will tell them, if something happens, for some people, it is to stay with it and hold it and breathe into it and for some people, I'm like, okay, it's time for you to move away from it a bit. Go skiing, go do something you love. But just know that while you're doing, the intention is not to avoid it. Your intention is, I'm going to open up to something else that I love, knowing that I'm creating space for something new to come in. Because if they're too like this, like too clingy or controlling, I'm like, okay, you're too far on that control side, so you need to pull back a bit. And so go do something you love, because now you're creating space between you and this thing to allow something to come in and reorganize. Whereas for some people, they avoid. Like, I'm an avoider. So no, you're going to stay with it. You're going to breathe with it, and you're going to meditate with it and sit in nature with it, and just don't go escaping it. Because for me to leave, oh yeah, I'm avoiding it. So I know. So I tend to feel that, because it's different for everybody. If they're avoidant type, and they know just by me talking, you'll probably be like, yeah, I'm the anxious type. I'm like always holding on to it. And I'm the avoidant type. I'll avoid it the minute something fucking happens. I got to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, but that's like how in that moment, all of us know how we're being in a moment, right? And authority is not something that receipts right away. The first step is you return to center. Life bump happens. You observe yourself in it. Something lets go. And then you become centered. You feel it. You're like, okay, I'm good. I'm feeling calm. All right. Not everything's perfect. Nothing's like that. But you're back to this place within yourself where you're like, I'm breathing. It's not the end of the world. You know what I mean? So that's the center part. So what I teach is like, okay, so once you've got center, now you want to build containment. Your nervous system hasn't been built to hold reality. Mine wasn't. Most people isn't. So what ends up happening is I teach the clients how to stay with reality deeper, so their containment and capacity builds naturally. Once your containment and capacity starts to build, then the next thing comes online, and it's your orientation. This is your true intuition, not the one that a lot of people are fabricating out there, the one I fabricated also. This is inner orientation. The thing is, if you're not centered and holding it with containment, you don't have orientation. You don't have intuition. You're in fear still. You see? Yeah. So then your orientation comes in. Once the orientation comes in, then what I call your inner operating system, the inner managing system, which is the authority. And the authority is part of your psyche. And when the authority recedes in your psyche, this is really powerful. It's like it now gives guidance to the heart, to the mind, to the nervous system. Like your whole nervous system. So that's what happened to me when the authority came back online. My whole nervous system was like, because I want you to picture most of my life, things would happen, a bump. And my nervous system's like, who's in charge? I wasn't there. I wasn't in charge. So my nervous system's like, well, we that's what fight and flight is, by the way. The nervous system's like, okay, well, we got to take care of her. There's nobody in charge here. She's outside of herself. She's focused on everything outside of her. She's not even in her. So we're on our own. So we'll keep her safe. Well, your nervous system is making choices now, but it's making choices for your safety, not for your happiness. Okay.
Yeah.
But I never realized that authority was part of our psyche. And if it's not seated within our psyche, that's why one day we're like, I know what I'm going to do. And then the next day we have no more confidence. We're doubting again. And it's because of the psyche, the authority is not seated. And again, it's because the minute something else happens with reality, what happens? We pull back again. That we
Pull
don't
back.
trust again. We're doubt. So it's this big freaking mess. And then I tell people like, so once you know how to stay centered, then you build containment, then you have your inner orientation activated. Your authority is receded. Now watch. Your creativity is clean. You're not trying to be creative. Things that come through you is mind-blowing. Then stability. You're not trying to be stable. You are stable. Hello, you have center, containment, orientation, and full authority. So, and this is the authority inside of your system.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, now you're growing naturally. You are. You're always expanding and expanding and expanding and expanding, but from your center. It's not a off center again, centered, off center, center, and calling that growth. No, I'm like, that's not growth. That's like, what do
Like
you
on a
call
going
it?
on a roller coaster or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's what I did. And then we're like, but look how much I know. Yeah, that doesn't matter. You know what I mean? How much you know. And so that's like the system with authority that I was like sharing this morning. And I'm like, and that's why most women, a lot of women and a lot of men too, right? They weren't allowed to have authority. And so, or maybe their ancestors weren't allowed to have authority. And so they've exiled it as well. And so when they're working in this information, they're feeling for the first time in their lineage, their authority coming back online. And there's really no greater feeling. There isn't. Yeah.
Yeah. My wish for everyone and myself also is for our authority to come back online, for us to be able to create pure creativity, like you said. Like I feel that's like that's going to be like a bliss where we're able to create from pureness, from our center, from our
Yeah.
core, from our
And it's
essence.
from your path.
From
It
our
will be
past,
an expression of your path. But if you're not participating with reality, then there is no creative cleanness. Like my creativity was based on what I learned from coaches or other people. Well, that's not clean creativity. Clean creativity is coming from an expression that's so unique to me, but that's very rare out there. And a lot of people are trying to have clean creativity and they're trying to be in their genius and they're trying to be all these things. And I'm like, no, first center, then containment, then inner orientation, then authority. And once that's activated, watch the rest happens naturally. We have it backwards, our system. We're trying, the things that we have control over, we're not focused on. And the things we don't have control over, we're trying to force make it happen, right?
Yeah.
And I did it. So I'm not, I did it for many, many decades. But yeah. And that's why I teach this now, because I'm like, God, this is what I wish I would have known.
No, yes. And that's why I'm very grateful that you're teaching people out there, and I've gotten the opportunity, and listeners out there, I've gotten the opportunity to learn, from your experience and what you teach people right now. So a big blessing, I would say. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah. So for people out there who have more questions to ask, because I know some people might be listening to this and be like, okay, I still have more questions to ask. Tobi did not ask this question. Tobi did not ask that. Tobi did not ask that. What's the best way to reach out to you and to maybe work with you and connect with you?
Yeah, the best way would definitely be my website, nataliebouchard.com. And also, there's free courses, and it says right on the website, free courses, and you can go select the course. Let's say if you have relationship bumps, you can go and select the relationship. If it's work bumps, go there. If it's health and body bumps, go there. So I have the 3 categories for a reason, so that I can really speak to the bump that's going on in your life, but still connect this information to it. And then I also have a free Bump It Like It's Hot. It's a 3-day event that I had done, and you get the replays of that as well. So you guys can go and dive into there and go check it out. And then also there's ways of connecting with me as well, like on my website and stuff like that, for sure.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes. I'm going to place a link to your website in the show notes of the episode. So I encourage everyone out there to start with the free programs that you've placed out there, that you've, given to people out there, and also reach out to you through the contact form on your website. So if they want to reach out to you directly or ask some more questions or something like that.
Yeah, ask me more questions. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I really like the questions. I enjoy being asked questions.
Yeah, I enjoy listening to you too. I mean, it's so insightful and helps me to, even think deeper and watch out, observe my life also and see, okay, Tobi, there's some things you have to work on or adjust, to get more aligned and more present and participate more in life. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this.
Oh, you're welcome. I enjoyed every moment. Thank you so much, Tobi.
Alethea Companion is now live on the App Store. a calm biblical wisdom companion for money, work, purpose, generosity, stewardship, and life decisions. It helps you slow down, reflect, seek wisdom, and take one faithful next step before pressure makes the decision for you. Download it today and leave an honest review if it speaks to you. Thank you.
If this conversation resonated with you, consider following or subscribing to Mirror Talk on your favorite podcast platform. You can also support the show by sharing this episode with someone who might need it and by leaving a 5-star rating. It helps these conversations reach more people who could benefit from them.
Thank you very much.